Happy Sunday to you, everyone. Hope you're doing well out there this morning. I've got a viewer question I want to go over with you, and you might think it's just a pretty simple question with a simple answer, but it really isn't. So that's why I want to cover it. The question is, Bryan, my question is, of all the videos I've watched, I don't see any of your trainers ever saying no to the dogs. Well, that's not a question. That comes from here. I know your training is cause and effect, but I'm just curious, should we avoid saying no and instead correct the bad behavior and reward the good behavior? Obviously, I also want to avoid saying bad dog. All right, so to kind of back up that just a little bit there, well, if you haven't seen any of our trainers, even myself, saying no, well, or hear us saying no, it's probably because these little microphones I'm using right here so you guys can hear me. I've been told many times by all these technical wizards out there that I am not. You probably picked up on that by now, that audio is actually more important than the video. So these little microphones I'm using right here, which I highly recommend, these things are awesome if you ever want to do any sort of video recording. They don't pick up the other people as well. So therefore, that's why you'll see me every now and then. I have to pass this thing over to one of my trainers so they can actually talk so that you can hear them. So you're probably not hearing them say no. We do say no. You might hear them say nope, or phooey, or eh. That's what Kira does. Kira's got this, oh my gosh. Just the other day, she was out front. One of our little Morkies started to do something, and our daughter, who's home from college, like a lot of college daughters are right now, and sons, was sitting there on the porch doing some homework, and all of a sudden, Kira, I don't know what the Morkie was doing at that time, but Kira goes, ah! Just like that. Holy moly. Our daughter about jumped out of her skin. And I sent her telling her, man, that's me, catches me every single time. But to answer your question in short, no, you should use no. I know that's a lot of no's, but you should say no. I say no all the time. If I catch Captain doing something, I'll say no, or stop it, or phooey. And that just comes from my old Schutzen days. I may say, knock it the heck off. You're killing me here. Yeah, all it is communication. At the end of the day, it's just communication. And that no is a mark. And that's the most important thing. When you're going to communicate with an animal, you want to evoke a response from them. Unless you're just sitting around saying, man, you're good looking, I swear. I don't want to be like Captain. I want to be Captain. If you're having one of those moments, then who cares what your communication is occurring? If it's just there to lower your blood pressure, make you feel good, you're getting a big benefit out of it, knock yourself off. But if you are trying to evoke a behavior from a dog, then you need to do that and do that very quickly, very concisely. So therefore, all behavior, if you're going to communicate with them, starts off with a mark. For instance, maybe I see Captain grabbing a rock, and it looks like it's one of these rocks that he's probably going to swallow. That's just going to be a bad day for him, going to be a bad day for me. So when he grabs this rock, when I say no, that no is me marking that specific behavior right then. And marking is a term used to denote a critical time sequence, which it is. You ever want a dog to know good dog for doing something good or bad dog for doing something bad? You need to kind of let them know that within a few seconds of the behavior. So that no is marking the behavior. Go to a track and field event and you will hear, on my mark. Hear that? On my mark. Get set. Bam! Off goes the starter pistol. That's the mark. That's the mark. Critical time sequence. So yes, I use no all the time. No, it marks the behavior. Not only does it mark the behavior, it disrupts the behavior right then. You're going to use no not for behavior you want. I don't think you would anyway. Maybe you will, but no, I'd recommend you don't. I use no to immediately disrupt the behavior. Stop it right now. I marked it right this second. Stop what you're doing right this second. Disrupt that. So the dog's about to pick up this rock, and all of a sudden he hears from Bryan, no. And goes, what? Okay, great. I've accomplished a couple things. I marked that behavior, I disrupt that behavior, and now guess what else I've done? That no redirects the behavior. So not only does it mark it, not only does it disrupt it, it now redirects your dog's attention to you. So yeah, I had this grand idea in my mind that this rock was going to be so very delicious. I couldn't wait to run that thing to the back of my mouth and to the front. See what kind of aftertaste I get from it. See if I taste it on the back of the mouth or on the front. No. Heck no, not anymore, baby, because Bryan just said no. He said it right when you grabbed that darn rock. He disrupted what I was about to do with the rock. Now all my attention is on him, so it's redirected my attention on him, not on the rock. Which then, because now Bryan's talking to me, and Bryan's done some training with me in the past, his next signal, the follow-up to signal, and I'm going to talk about that here in a second, now becomes the priority signal, no longer the rock. Because that no means business, or at least it should. And that means that if you're going to ever say no to your dog, you really need in the beginning to follow up with another signal. It's a signal. I disrupted that. I marked that. Now that you are focused on me, I don't want you to ever do I want to do anything with you that I make you stop what you're doing and refocus on me for nothing. There needs to be a reason. When there's reasons, we do pay attention to no. We do. It does disrupt the behavior. We do turn our attention to you instead. We do now wait for the follow-up signal that we know is coming. Again, it's kind of like a dog who growls. Growl doesn't mean anything unless there's a follow-up nip. There's got to be a follow-up behavior. Now, that doesn't have to be a correction. That can simply be no. So dog spits it out. Looks at you. Come. There we go. Good boy. Way to go. I just kind of call you away from the rock. I'll go pick that thing up myself and get rid of it. Yeah, there can be lots of reasons to use no and then follow up with something good. So that kind of brings me to one of the other statements that she made, or questions. We should only reward correct bad behaviors and reward only good behaviors. Not always the case there. There are some behaviors you can actually diminish and extinguish just by not giving any reinforcement to it. A little bit hard. It's known as an extinction module, and the problem with extinction modules are there has to be the absolute absence. Listen to those words. The absolute absence of any reinforcer. But I've adopted dogs who some prior owner, prior to me, taught this dog how to shake. And if there is one thing, you can take this to the bank, that Bryan will never teach his personal dog how to do, that is shake. I get it's cute. I get it. But it's also OCD. You become a vending machine. I'm just going to peck away at you. Here, here's my paw. Here's my paw. Look at me. In other words, that paw is almost like a no. Hey, you, no, quit watching TV. No, quit eating. No, quit reading that book. No, quit talking on that video doing a Facebook Live. And then all of a sudden you finally do, because it bugs the daylights out of you. And you finally go, okay, what? Stop it. Okay, well, at least I got your attention. So that's why extinction modules are hard. Even if you correct the dog will sometimes feel, well, at least I got you to do something. You're at least paying attention to me now, not just totally ignoring me. So, but you can make behaviors go away by simply ignoring some of them when you can. And that's one of those behaviors that I'm good at. I can ignore that. Same thing with dogs who, I did a video a couple of days or a couple of weeks back on submissive urination, dogs who urinate because their arousal level reaches a certain point, and I told you about how I'd walk through the door, completely ignore my dog. Even though if it did urinate, I would not get on its case. I would not correct the dog. If I'm ever training the dog and for whatever reason it urinates, man, that's just a big signal telling me one of two things. Either A, I have got to go really in a bad way, or the stress level, Bryan, is too high for me at this moment. So I'm backing off. I'm definitely not going to correct that at that moment. Maybe during housebreaking, that's different. And that's where you learn where it's different. But all that being said, I could go down that road, and that's probably going to be a topic on about a 2-day or 2-series event on Facebook Live about correcting only good behaviors, bad behaviors, and rewarding only good behaviors. There's times to do them both. Rewards can be overdone. Corrections can certainly be overdone. I'll say that later. But yes, we do want to say the word no. There's nothing, by the way, there's nothing wrong with saying bad dog if you want to. I've said it many times, bad dog, that's really bad. Yeah, it's kind of like how you say it. I can sit here right now and tell Captain, bad dog. And he would be right in my lap. He would be right in my lap. I could tell another dog, no, and yep, I'm going to get the exact opposite effect of what typically no means. So a lot of our communication with our dogs is our voice inflections. It comes with many. It's a signal suite. It's what are we doing at that moment? Are we looking directly at them? How does a dog know when I say no to it versus when I say no to Kira, no to any of my other trainers, no to you? How does the dog know? And there's a lot of no's in there. How does it know? Because it comes in a signal suite. I'm looking at you. Yeah, I'm not looking at them. I'm kind of leaning your direction. Maybe I'm starting to stand up here real quick. Maybe I'm doing lots of things. Definitely make sure that you understand I'm talking to you. And so that being said, I love no. Golly. So if you haven't heard us say it, we do say it. Dogs that are undergoing training do a lot of things that get a no. They have to. Nope, that's not good. That's good. Nope, and correct. Nope, and yes, sir. And nope, and yes, ma'am. Way to go. So, okay, in short, review real quick. Number one, yes, use that word no. Use it, but just do me a favor in the beginning. When you use the word no, make sure you follow up with something else. Don't let noise simply become, the word no become white noise, background noise. In the beginning, you are evoking that dog's response from that dog. You're saying no, you're marking it, you're disrupting it, you're redirecting the focus to you, and now you are prioritizing the signal to you. No longer the rock, no longer the barking, no longer the person, so on and so forth. Don't do that. Do all those things. It's all about communicating with your dog. And anytime you're around your dog, whether you want it or not, you are communicating something. They're watching you, observing, learning, placing certain gestures and voice inflections and putting them in, cataloging them in different portions of that brain back there. Latent learning. Learning right then and there, cause and effect. They're learning. They have to learn. Biologically prepared learning, survival learning. So do it, guys. Just always remember it. And the last thing, the only thing I would tell you not to do is never just say no and just be it at that. No way. Even to this day, even when my dog's older, if I tell Captain no for anything, I follow up with something else. Yep. I want to make sure I complete all the requirements. If you do the same thing, your no will never just fade away. It'll always have the end result. The dog will stop the behavior immediately, redirect its attention to you, and you will then become the priority signal, any follow-up signals. And that's a wonderful place to be, especially when the dog will eventually be off leash, not tethered to you. So don't lose the power of it. Okay, guys, that's it. I hope you now know a lot more about the word no. It's very important. Be sure you use it. I'll catch you guys out tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day.